The $30 Masterpiece, How a Forgotten Sketch Became a Renaissance Sensation, on. A quiet afternoon in 2016, an estate sale in Concord, Massachusetts, unfolded without ceremony. Among the tables of porcelain, stacks of yellowing books, and battered furniture, a modest drawing rested in a plain frame. Its subject was tender, almost serene, the Virgin Mary seated on a grassy bench, the Christ child nestled in her arms, a small flower balanced delicately between them. The price tag reads $30. To most shoppers, it was nothing more than a charming old print. But one man, a Massachusetts resident in his 60s, who makes a modest living buying and selling second-hand goods, paused. Something about the delicacy of the lines and the intimacy of the figures struck him. He purchased the drawing, tucking it into his home collection without fanfare. For 2 years, the sketch sat quietly in his house, admired for its beauty but not its provenance. Then one day, as he examined it again, he noticed something that quickened his pulse. The initials AD, 2 letters that had graced some of the most extraordinary works of the Renaissance. Could it possibly be Albrecht Dürer? Unsure what to make of his find, the man showed the drawing to Brainerd Philipson, a local rare book dealer. Philipson was intrigued and sent word to Clifford Schorer, a collector and shareholder in London's esteemed Agnew's Gallery. Schorer was skeptical at first. When shown a photograph, he dismissed it outright. It must be an engraving, he thought. But when he saw the work in person, his certainty faltered. It was either the greatest forgery I had ever seen, or a masterpiece. Determined to resolve the mystery, Schorer offered the anonymous buyer $100,000 up front for the rights to investigate and market the work. That gamble would soon pay off. Scientific and scholarly analysis followed. The paper revealed a trident and ring watermark, identical to those found on known Dürer sheets from around 1503. The AD monogram was not an afterthought, but had been inscribed in the same ink as the sketch itself. 2 leading experts weighed in: Christoph Metzger, chief curator of Vienna's Albertina Museum, and Julia Bartram, retired British Museum curator. Both agreed the drawing was indeed by Albrecht Dürer, the towering genius of the Northern Renaissance. They suggested the work was a preparatory sketch for Dürer's later watercolor, The Virgin Among a Multitude of Animals, completed around 1506. Every line from the Virgin's tender gaze to the child's delicate gesture bore his unmistakable hand. Not everyone was convinced. Fritz Koreni, a former Albertina curator, argued that the drawing could instead be the work of Hans Baldung Green, one of Dürer's most talented pupils. Baldung was skilled at emulating his master's style, and debates over attribution are not uncommon in the art world. But Metzger pushed back firmly. The refinement, balance, and detail of the sketch, he maintained, were uniquely Dürer's. The drawing's provenance traced back to Jean-Paul Carl-Hien, a French-born Boston architect and art collector. After his death in 2012, his estate was liquidated and the sketch was sold without recognition of its true worth. By sheer chance, it had passed into the hands of a man whose instinct kept it from disappearing once more into obscurity. Now authenticated, the work ignited headlines around the world. Estimates placed its value at over $10 million, with some experts suggesting it could command as much as $50 million, a staggering leap from its humble $30 price tag. The Massachusetts man who purchased the drawing has chosen to remain anonymous, content to let the artwork, not himself, occupy the spotlight. In interviews, he admitted he simply thought it was a wonderfully rendered piece of old art. His quiet intuition, however, brought one of the great treasures of the Renaissance back into the light. Albrecht Dürer, 1471-1528, is often called the Leonardo da Vinci of the North. His engravings and drawings combined mathematical precision with spiritual depth, influencing artists across Europe. Each rediscovered work adds to our understanding of a mind that bridged science, faith, and art. To find an unknown drawing by Dürer in a Massachusetts estate sale is akin to uncovering a lost Shakespeare folio or an unheard Mozart sonata. It is a reminder that history still hides treasures in plain sight, waiting for curious eyes to recognize them. Today, the Virgin and Child with a flower on a grassy bench resides with Agnew's Gallery in London, awaiting its destiny, whether in a museum collection or a private home. But its journey has already made history. What began as a quiet impulse purchase at a yard sale became a story that captivated the world. A Renaissance masterpiece, lost for centuries, rediscovered for the price of a tank of gas. 500 years after Albrecht Dürer put ink to paper, his drawing once again inspires awe, a whisper from the past, reminding us that the extraordinary often hides in the most ordinary of places.